weeks. 40 weeks is the period needed for the creation of a baby. Giving birth to a healthy infant requires a functional womb. However, what happens during pregnancy in terms of nutrition and experience affects significantly the development of the child as he or she goes through life. My womb was the Azetse of Venlo. I spent 9 months waiting for my rebirth. There, I faced a lot of critical incidents that impacted and contributed to my reformation and development as a newcomer to the EU. Today, I'll share 2 of these incidents with you. During the week of my hearing in the END, after a long and emotional session, on one of the coldest days I've ever known, I went out to the city. I was hungry. I saw a car selling fish. I approached and asked for some Kipling. The man who's selling fish was simple in his own way. He asked me, "Where do you come from?" I said, "I ran away from a war in my country." At this point, the fishman started talking to me in a louder tone, saying, "Aha, now you are coming to take our houses. You are coming to take our houses. My son has to wait many years to get a house." I apologized and ran away. I felt afraid, unsafe, smothered. My body crumbled, and I was unable to breathe. I couldn't tell the man who I was in my country. I couldn't tell him that I had a degree in English literature, and I worked for international companies. I couldn't even tell him that I have a loving and caring family whom the war spread apart. On another day, I was wandering in the Centrum van Venlo. I saw people dancing, wearing colorful clothes and cheerful masks, and drinking happily as if the sun had shined in the middle of the winter. I started dancing with them. A man wearing feather on his head, he smiled at me and invited me to dance with him. Later on, I found out that this festive was the carnival. I wanted to get involved in this happy event and contribute to my new society. So I investigated it more. Eventually, I ended up building a wagon as part of a float for the parade with a group of kind, generous, welcoming Dutch people whose acceptance and welcoming feelings enabled me to reborn healthy. 2 different experiences, 2 different impacts, 2 different people, 2 different impacts on my life, on my mental well-being. The fishman forced me to retreat to my own shell. The carnival people held my hand and assured me that I can relate to them. This country is clearly divided on how to deal with war refugees, with us, with me. I understand it is hard. I understand there are several reasons to be afraid of us. But I want to ask a question. What impact you want to have on your war refugees? Do you want them to be afraid, angry, mentally ill? Or do you want them to feel happy and welcome and contribute to society? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? The fishman or the carnival people? Reflecting on these questions throughout last summer, I came across a story of two young, strong men. The first one was Pakistani British. The second one was white American. Both of them did not feel welcome in their own schools, neighborhood, small community. Both of them were left behind, felt abandoned, and shared the same pain and horrible feeling of not being accepted. Consequently, the British man joined Al-Qaeda. The American man joined the skinhead Nazis. Some of you might be saying, that's true. We're social animals. We want to feel loved, accepted, and relate to our community. But what's the relation between this story and refugees? Well, ladies and gentlemen, refugees are simply humans. Refugees are humans with different hair color, with different outlook. Refugees also want to feel accepted. And yet, we are in a more vulnerable situation than you. We left our lives behind. We left our dreams. We left our families, our spouse, our children. I left my parents just for the sake of safety. If refugees don't find acceptance, they will be an easy target for such groups. Come out Syria. It was a country that welcomed refugees from all over the world, all the time. And yet, like any other country in the world, there were always people complaining about refugees. Those people were living in the myth that refugees are burden to host communities. They prejudged refugees even before interacting with them. I remember in 2005, during the war in Iraq, I heard that swarms of Iraqi refugees were coming to Syria. I heard people saying, those refugees are coming to take houses. Prices have been doubled. We're walking in our streets and barely recognize it. It is full of Iraqis. And me? I just didn't care. I didn't care. I was living in my own narrow world. I used to see Iraqi refugees in the streets. Back then, I never knew how fragile they were. I never knew how much they needed a smile, a hand of help, to assure them that they are safe and welcome. Unfortunately, I can't reverse the time. but I can evolve. I want to use my experience in that womb. I want to use my experience as a refugee. I want to contribute to my new society and go to every university and every school to share my story. I want to tell students that refugees are gain, not a drain. I want to build bridges with them and tell them and learn together how to accept the other. Would you all join me to make this dream come true? Would you all hold my hand like the carnival people and help me to tell my story? Thank you.